So this is the end of the world. No, literally, it's the end of the world. I have officially gone mad. My initial mission statement was that I was going to be a Lolita that exclusively saved money, and to prove to the universe that I don't need to save up a lot and be happy as a Lolita. But I keep falling apart. I keep slipping down that dark path where I find some way of scraping pennies together and holding on to them long enough that I can buy something big. And it happened. It finally happened. This is my most expensive thing I have ever bought. I think you will like this B-reel as I tell you a grand story to make it seem more reasonable why I have a shopping addiction. I went with my local Lolitas up to San Francisco. So we had a great old time and it was all grand, and we were in Japantown, and it's like, that's it, everyone march into Baby the Stars Shine Bright. We're gonna have a fun time trying stuff on. And we get in there and everyone's trying stuff on. Everyone's looking gorgeous in the Brando. Everyone's trying on the Brando. And then somebody says, Teacup, why aren't you trying on the Brando? And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna buy any of the Brando or the anything. And they're like, oh, you have to try on the Brando. You gotta try on the Brando. And so I literally spun around the store and I just pointed at something. And it was Ragnarok from Alice and the Pirates. And I always thought that that dress looked weird because I'd seen pictures of it, not worn pictures. I'd just seen like pictures in Kira magazine and other publications. And it's always at a far distance and you can't really see it very clearly. And it just looks kind of meh. And I thought, I'll try on the meh dress. And you know what happened? Darn thing fit! The darn thing fit, and it looked great, and I loved it, and I immediately wanted it, and I thought, like, I want this, and then I looked at my bank account, and I realized, like, actually, I kind of had the money for it, because I was supposed to fly off over states to a big thing, but then I had to cancel because of health reasons, so I had leftover money that I was saving for travel, but now I'm not traveling, and I told myself, no, I'm gonna be an adult, I'm not gonna do this, I'm gonna be responsible, and I even went so far as to call my boyfriend and another Lolita, Aqua Chick, tell me not to do this, and Aqua Chick's like, you should, and I'm like, no, and then all the Lolitas are like, do it, and it was horrible. It's like some kind of peer pressure event. They were like, do it, if you can afford it, do it. Because I looked good in it. I was like, no! And I threw it back on the shelf. And I just said, no, I'll come back for it, like, in a week or two. Because I had to go up to San Francisco again in a week or two. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to wait it out. I'm going to be good. I'm just going to wait it out. And then, baby had a sale. And they said it online. They said, it's a sale! Woo! And I don't know if it was part of the sale or maybe people were going to the website because there was a sale and then they noticed it. But all the Ragnaroks got bought up. And Baby the Stars Shine Bright in San Francisco in the middle of April still had all the colors for Ragnarok. I was like, no. And then I thought to myself, no, maybe, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to cope. I'm going to deal with my dream dress being gone. And I'm going to deal with that. What I did was I just buried my feelings. I said if it ever shows up on Closet Child for really cheap, I'll do it. I'll be responsible. I'll hold on to my money. And I will not go on some kind of mad goose chase. And I clicked on a random video. And I'll link her below. I don't remember her name right now. But she's a Lolita in Canada. Used a secondhand shop called Usagiyouhinten? Usagiyohinten or Usagiyohinten? I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but it's a very, very tiny secondhand boutique in Shibira, and it's very much like Closet Child. It's just the difference is Closet Child is a grand franchise scale secondhand shop. In the United States, there is a company called Goodwill, who's very much like that. It's a second-hand store, but it's on a very large scale. It's very industrious. And Usagiyouhinten is a very tiny one-shop, one-boutique little place that does exactly the same thing, and so it has a slightly different selection. I clicked on the link just because I thought, you know what, I've never heard of this place. This is the first time I've seen a Lolita recommend this place on YouTube. I'm going to take a look. And you know what was right there? The end of the world. And now I'm going to stop talking because I'm opening the package. It hasn't been a dream dress for very long. It's been a dream dress for like a month and a half. But I got it. Got it in brown because I really like that colorway. Brown has become my Lolita comfort color. I don't know if you can tell. This Bodyline JSK, I'm very much in love with it, and it's brown. The colors are very nicely toned in all the versions, but the other colorways tend to be a bit more monochromatic. The green is very, very bright. The wine has a very rich wine tint, sort of like a filter over the image. And then the black is everything in grayscale, like a black and white movie, so it has a very gothic air to it. And then the brown is sort of like whatever that default image was that they began with, and then they started to alter it for the different colorways. And I really like how clear it is because of that, because it sort of missed a step of processing. It comes off as a bit more sharp. So as you can see, it's packed very nice and very clean, and it's in good packing order. It is incredibly tightly packed. Obviously very mindful of shipping costs, and they're trying to make sure that everything gets sent to you in a very compact, very neat package that doesn't waste any money whatsoever. I shop directly through the shop. The other girl who introduced me to this shop on YouTube, she used a shopping service, but she lived in Canada, and so that might be because of Canada's mail service, shipping methods, package service, whatnot. In America, it happened to work out that I could just buy directly from the store. The store is very understanding of overseas customers that do not speak Japanese, and they have it set up so you can either use a forum, which they have a very long translation of under the overseas customers page, or you can send them an email. I chose to go with an email because I kind of like the idea that we might be able to confirm back and forth more quickly if there's any lost in translation issues, and also because I was a little bit confused by the form and its setup. I'm usually somebody who gets confused by Japanese forms, so I chose the email method. It was very simple, it was very quick. I emailed them what they want, they checked that it was in stock, and then they sent me the PayPal invoice, and they said I had a week to pay the invoice, and I paid it as quickly as possible, and then they shipped it the next day after I had paid the invoice. So it was all very fast. I chose EMS, and the reason why was that this dress in the store when I was originally considering purchasing it was priced at $270 United States dollars. And then online on Usagiyouhinten, they had it priced that when you converted it from yen to American dollars, it was about maybe $230 or so. So I chose to go with EMS because I already had the money to have paid it for full retail price, and I really wanted to make sure that there were no problems getting it over here. EMS is the most safe method of shipping to the United States from Asia, but airmail is a totally viable option. The only difference between the two is airmail, if something happens to go wrong, it's harder to track down where your package may have ended up. With EMS, there's a bit more assurance, and because it costs more, there's a bit more weight on the company to make sure you don't lose it. I'm sorry if my videos can be a bit long-winded, but I want to try to talk you through the process whenever I shop at a new store, especially if it's a foreign store, because I want American Lolitas, Canadian Lolitas, and Lolitas that are outside of China and Japan to have a really clear understanding of how the process is going to work for them when they order. So when I do a review of a new shop, it's definitely kind of a product review, a unboxing video, and a store review all combined into one. So we got some stuff. The first thing is a flyer from the store itself. I've looked in some of my Lolita Bibles that I have, and in the Gothic Lolita Bibles, I actually noticed there are ads for this store. Pulled out the package and I started babbling, and what I didn't notice is I was pressing a little thank you card, and it had my name and like my personal information, and I was babbling way too long and I didn't realize that was there. So the first item I want to show you, and again, everything is in its own clear bag, and everything was packed into a larger clear bag, so very good. The first thing I want to show you is a tote bag. And you might be wondering, Teacup, why did you get a Q-Pot tote bag? It's so dinky, it's so small, what are you ever going to do with it? And my answer is, I bought it for $7 from the store so I could turn it into bows, because I'm obsessed with chocolate. And that's what I'm going to do, because I can. Now the interesting part is, in the store I really didn't feel the fabric, because I sort of grabbed it and I ran into the changing room and I tried it on, and I was just sort of so stunned when I saw myself. I really didn't, like, I don't know, stop to feel it. So this feels very nice. All the information on the website suggests that it is primarily a polyester material with a bit of wool blended into it. The bit of wool gives it the texture of it being like a very rich fabric. And then I'm guessing the polyester, and I don't mean to bore people with the science of this, but the polyester might be to try to preserve the color saturation. So here is the front of the dress, and you can see that the bodice and, well, the bodice mainly is the same shape as a dress series that just came out by, I think, also Alice and the Pirates, which is their new Swan Lake. It was Swan Lake inspired piece, and they assured me at the store that it was the same bodice, because when I called back and I was like, I'm ready to buy it now, and the assistants, they're so nice there at Baby, and they just sort of timidly told me over the phone, well, it's sold out now. And then they said, don't worry, Swan Lake is coming in soon. And it's actually the exact same cut. So if you really like the cut, you can get Swan Lake. But the truth is, I don't really care about Swan Lake. So I hope you can see it well, but it's very much a fitted bodice. It's very much almost a corsety shape, and with the ribbon, it's very much a corsety, more adult medieval inspired kind of a cut. And then where the lace sits right here, this is going to land right on your hip. And so the idea is it wants to hug the smallest part of your waist, and then this is going to emphasize the biggest part of your hip. And then the way this is cut here, it has a very sort of adult ball, not a ball gown, but a very gown type design, rather than a typical Lolita bodice, which is several inches shorter, and it's just usually the same level all the way around. That's a big reason why I like this, is that I'm a very bottom heavy, very curvy person, and a lot of the Lolita stuff cuts me at an odd place. So you can see the ribbon here is brown, and this is very important if you ever want to buy Ragnarok, is you need to keep track of the color of the ribbon in the sample photos that they provide you on the store from secondhand shops, because Ragnarok's green colorway and brown colorway look very, very similar in bad lighting, like what's happening right now as the sun is setting behind me. And so it's very important to keep track of the ribbon color, because the ribbon will tell you which colorway it is. If this was the green colorway, then this ribbon would be a very distinctive mossy forest green. Also, in bad lighting, I've seen one or two posts on Lace Market that didn't have the best pictures. The wine color can sometimes look like the brown color in bad lighting. So again, you will know it's the wine color because the ribbon will be distinctly red. I think that's an important note for anyone who's searching for this. The pillars of a great hall, the Vikings used to build these great halls, these great like sort of communal chambers that everyone could come together and gather. Often they had sort of picnic table-like setups where they would feast and drink until everyone passes out, and then everyone would just kind of grab a blanket or a rug on the floor, roll themselves up and take a nap, get up the next morning and go back to work. And so these are supposed to look like those pillars and the rafters for the Great Hall. And then in between those rafters are these, I guess what you could almost call illustration plates, and they're very much shaped like tarot cards, and they're many of the most popular Norse gods. And I notice the way that they have written the text on here. There is like a little thing on the top, a little banner on the top that lists the name of the god, and then on the bottom there is another banner that simply says Ragnarok, which is the end of the world. It is the apocalyptic event of Norse mythology. And so you can see the colors in this print are just staggering in that they range the gambit. You have a lot of sky in here, and so that means that you're going to have a lot of colors that that would be in a sky, and so you can match back a lot of things that have periwinkles in it, a lot of things that have whites and creams for the clouds, and then it goes into a darker night setting as the dress turns, as you look at the rest of the print. And you can see night and day sometimes clash together a little bit. Right here where the world tree is, night and day sort of bang into one another right here. And so if you wanted to, you could take accessories that have a more celestial or sort of space theme, and you could match it to this, or you could take accessories that kind of remind you of that famous AP print Misty Sky that was recently re-released, and a lot of people died trying to get a hold of it on the internet, because people die on the internet. And so yeah, and there's lace here on the back. The back is sheared partially, and that means not the entire back panel, but about a third of the back panel has shearing. And then there's lace guarding the sides, and the ribbon is looped through the lace. So I would say tie this so that it's fitted on you, but don't like tighten this a lot. Do not treat this like an actual corset, because it will not have the strength. The lace will break if you pull it too tight and if it has too much tension against you. So don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that. And then the straps are very plain, as you can see. Very plain straps. And I really liked this because with Lolita fashion, sometimes the shape of the strap and the shape of your blouse conflict with one another. And so here you can see that that's not going to happen because the straps are almost non-existent. I would perhaps clip little accessories to these straps if you really wanted to get a more embellished look. But overall, I would say what you should focus on is make sure that the shoulders and the neckline of your blouse are very interesting, because this is a very open neck jumper skirt. And so you want to make sure that your blouse doesn't sort of let down versus the complexity and the interest of the dress. And then again, there's lace here, and there's this nice, interesting, like almost, I would guess you would call like a heart neckline. And again, it's a rose lace, and I've seen this before on other Alice and the Pirates things. And then you have this very nice, I don't know what to call that, but it's a very nice trim. There are flowers on the bodice. there aren't really any flowers on the bottom. The bodice is a very different print than the bottom. It's all themed together, but the only thing that the top has in common with the bottom is that the top has the same sort of pillar design as striping going along here. And then the bottom is very much its own print, its own design. Thank you so much for sitting through all of this with me. I hope it's been a slightly entertaining ride, and I can't wait to make more videos for you guys soon. It's been a long time, and I'm sorry if I'm a little rusty and I'm babbling a little long. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.